The quarterback who has faced more than his fair share of criticism, especially during the trade with the Rams and even while under center here in Detroit. Jared Goff is now the proud owner of one of the largest contracts in NFL history. And even despite all of the naysayers, this new deal really speaks volumes about the Lions' trust in Jared Goff and their belief in his future and the Detroit Lions' future, the team's future with Goff under center. I think it's really simple. Even though it gets convoluted, I feel like it's really simple. The Lions organization believes in Goff. I believe in Jared Goff, and many of you believe in Jared Goff. However, there is a faction of you that did want to see Jared Goff traded in 2024. And I even spoke to the business side of football where, trades can happen, even though they don't feel necessary. Just to propel a team forward and flush with draft capital, sometimes trades happen and trades that just don't make sense. Depending on where your team is in the rebuild process, it could have happened with Jared Goff this offseason. Thankfully, it didn't. A trade that could have been possible, right? It could have been possible for Jared. Only if they had a shred of doubt in their leader and now franchise quarterback for many more seasons to come. Clearly, the Lions didn't have any shred of doubt in what Jared Goff can bring to the table. So Goff just wrapped up his press conference where he was quoted as saying, "I'm excited to continue my journey with the Lions. We've built something special here, and I'm ready to take it to the next level." He wants to win a Lombardi for this city. He holds the city of Detroit and fans very close to his heart. He mentioned that the leaders on this team, Penei Sewell, Mon-Ra St. Brown, some of which just received massive deals themselves, are all on the same page. And even those that didn't receive massive deals and leaders on this team are ready to bring that Super Bowl victory to the city, home to Detroit. But then immediately during this press conference, there's a journalist in the room. It always seems to be that there's one that want to take what Goff just said and flip it upside down, asking why Goff would have the ability to press harder, right? Goff had mentioned something similar to the point of, he wants to work harder now and he feels like he can work harder now and get better or whatever he was trying to convey. But then the journalist took it and ran with it and questioning Goff like he really hasn't been working hard this entire time. I'm really tired of seeing and hearing this type of stuff from journalists that always try to find the negative stories to hang their hat on just for clicks, apparently. It despises me. And I guess it doesn't surprise me that Jared Goff even had to say something about the media about a month ago when he was on one of his old college buddies' podcast talking about the media and the negativity and the toxicity. And we've heard it time and time and time again. But, Goff's journey really has never been smooth. And the negative energy just never ceases to exist around him. And in my opinion, that just keeps placing those chips higher and higher on his shoulder. I will never understand, again, like I said, why people are so negative, but it is what it is. Goff was drafted first overall by the Los Angeles Rams in 2016. He showed promise early on, leading the Rams to a Super Bowl appearance in 2019. However, the critics, again, were very quick to point out any of his inconsistencies and struggles in big games. Look, it's warranted. If you have a bad game, you're going to get bad press. Completely understand it. The problem that I have is that when he has great games, people are only pointing to anything negative. He could throw for 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and win a game by 30, and someone's going to say his shoelace was untied. That's how stupid this is. Like, support the guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being critical. There's nothing wrong with being analytical, but there's a problem when you can't ever find anything positive to say about the dude who's clearly put this city and this team on his back. That's what he wants to do for this city, and he's done it. Things like this were said. I just don't see Goff as a franchise quarterback. Goff has too many flaws. The Rams should move on. Well, despite all these harsh assessments, Goff's talent was undeniable. He has only had 2 losing seasons his entire career. The last 7 games of his rookie season in 2016, where he was thrown to the wolves. I mean, literally, they strapped meat to this dude's back and threw him out there on a team that that he had no business going out and playing for at that time. That team was decimated. Like there's nobody that could have won with that team. And then in his first full season in 2017, he bounced right back and led the teams to, or led the Rams to the playoffs. And then in 2018 to the Super Bowl. They lost the first season in the playoffs, I believe, to Atlanta. And then in 2018, they lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots. I mean, a very tough team. But how can you blame Goff for all of that? That's the question that I have. I would blame the coaching staff for not having that team ready because they didn't look ready in that Super Bowl at all. It was not enough that the Rams had already bashed Goff internally, but also externally and inside in the public eye after that tough season in 2019 after the Super Bowl. Now, making the trade with the Lions in 2021, it was viewed by many as a fresh start for Goff, and it was viewed by others as a bridge quarterback for Detroit. Yet the skepticism and all of the criticism continued to follow him to Detroit, even though many of us thought it was a positive move. Like I spoke earlier, those funny trades that can happen just did with the Detroit Lions in 2021. Obviously, Matthew Stafford wanted out of Detroit. You get a trade that fills your team flush with draft capital, and you got a decent player at the time you thought was a decent player in return, ended up being the best player you could have potentially received in that trade. In his first season with the Detroit Lions, Goff faced challenges adapting to a new system and a team in rebuild mode. I mean, it wasn't just rebuild. Honestly, I mean, they ripped everything down to the mud, like you've heard me say many, many, many times. It wasn't even the studs. It was past the studs, into the foundation that they had to relay the entire framework for this city of Detroit and their team. But he never lost sight of his potential. Jared Goff never once lost sight. Yeah, he was battling some internal demons like he's spoken about. I mean, there's a lot of negativity and criticism around him, a lot of naysayers, and having to fight through that and finding people to talk to and being able to, get up every single day and go fight for what you believe in, which is yourself, is very hard to do. He only had his second losing season in 2021. Go figure. Detroit, right? Where apparently quarterbacks and players go to end their careers, or at least they used to. But when Detroit literally had, again, one of the worst rosters in football in 2021, because they just shed about 85% of the roster from the previous regime, the old Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn regime that completely smoked anything, that the Lions could have put together by wasting all their money and signing big contracts and leaving Brad Holmes with a bunch of dead cap. They didn't have anybody really on this roster that was worth a darn. It was a very tough season. We expected it was going to be a tough season. In year two, Jared Goff brought this team back. Second half of the season, went on a complete tear. Would we have an 8-2 run or something like that? Nearly missed the playoffs by one game. And honestly, the Seahawks should have lost that game. But week 18, they go out there and they fight and they scrap because they don't want to lose the last game of the season. And they didn't want the Packers to be in. Speaks volumes to who your quarterback is, right? Fast forward, 2023. We didn't see, and we kind of saw a different Goff, but did we really see a different Goff? I don't think so. I think the player that we just witnessed has been the player that he's always been. With a bolstered offensive line, some new weapons at his disposal from that draft, Goff showcased his resilience and skill once again, leading the Lions to their best record in 32 years. Best record ever, actually. I think first time we've ever won 12 games. I don't think that I need to really explain just how incredible this last season was and what it has done for the city of Detroit and the fans around the world. But I guess to use one word, incredible, right? Yet this didn't even seem enough for some fans or critics or naysayers, as this offseason, many were then clamoring for Hendon Hooker, third-round draft pick coming off of an ACL who has yet to take a snap in the NFL, that he should be the starter over Goff, and Goff should be traded and not extended, that would be an unwise decision and it would totally kill the team, that he is only lucky, Goff, that is, to accomplish what he did in 2023 and the stats that he's been able to put up because of the O-line and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, Amon-Ra is a big part, one of the biggest parts, honestly, of this team's success. But my question is, have you ever thought about it being the other way around? And not just with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and everybody else that Jared Goff has positively affected? The common denominator in the explosion of talent around Goff is directly related to Goff and his ability to master this offense that he and Ben Johnson have so creatively put together. Goff is one of the most intelligent quarterbacks in this game. A football nerd, as some like to say, or a nerd that plays football, as I like to say. Ask Travis Kelce, because he will tell you that it takes some level of nerd to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. And he even assimilates Patrick Mahomes as being somewhat of a nerd. And according to Travis Kelce, I mean, look at what they've done. I mean, look at the success that they've had. Now, I'm not comparing Mahomes to Goff. I'm just saying that if Travis Kelce feels that you have to have some level of nerd to be a great quarterback, and if you actually look around the NFL, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, I mean, these aren't, you know, I mean, you could call them all a little bit of nerd if you wanted to. I think it's a positive word. I don't think it's a negative nerd. Just kind of describes, you know, people always think about it as, you know, someone that's very intelligent, very diligent about things that they do. So last year we heard things like this. Goff is playing with confidence we have never seen before. This is his team now, by Dan Miller. Jared has proven he can lead this team. His work ethic, his dedication, and his performance on the field show us that he's our guy for the future, by Brad Holmes. And then the statement that we all fell in love with. Jared, you are good enough for Detroit, by Dan Campbell. The Lions simply recognized Goff's growth and his leadership, culminating in his new contract in 2024. This deal isn't just about numbers. It's about trust and belief in what Goff can achieve. And Jared Goff is now not tradable. And that's what this video is all about. That's right. He has a no trade clause in his contract, which means that he can't be traded, and more than likely only traded if he agrees to the destination and the timing of the trade. So let's take a look at his contract details and see just how important the Detroit Lions felt that Jared Goff was, or is. All right, so Jared Goff contract, 4 years, $212 million extension, $73 million signing bonus, largest ever in the NFL, $165 million due during the first 3 seasons, and an option year in 2028 worth $57 million. So in 2024, his base salary is $22.3 million, prorated signing bonus of $19.6 million, his guaranteed salary $7.6 million, and a dead cap money, if the Lions were to cut him or something crazy, $123.6 million. His cap number for this year has actually gone down. Actually, I apologize. His cap number for this year has pretty much stayed the same at $27.2 million, with a roster bonus of $5 million, which projects his total money for 2024 to be right around $32.3 million, or just under or just above, but right in that neighborhood. So his number for this year really didn't change a whole lot based on this new contract. Moving forward to 2025, he has a base salary of $18 million, prorated signing bonus of $14.6 million, his guaranteed salary at $18 million, dead cap drops from $123 down to $96.4 million, and his cap number, again, just $32.6 million. I mean, come on, guys. Like, being able to pay him almost exactly what he was paid the year before on this huge contract, that speaks volumes to how Detroit is doing contracts these days. In 2026, obviously a huge number, but you're talking 2 more cap increases between now and then. It's projected to be $280 million by 2025 and just over $300 million, $308 million by 2026. So roughly $60 million is going to be added to the cap between now and then. His base salary would be $55 million in 2026. Prorated signing bonus of $14.6 million is standard for every season. His guaranteed salary would be $20 million. Dead cap of $63.8 and a cap number of $69.6. 2027. See how there's no roster bonuses? They're expecting him to make the roster, right? Otherwise, you hang a big roster bonus in front of your quarterback that, hey, if you don't make the roster, you don't get this money. Well, they're expecting him to make the roster. 2027 base salary of $40 million, prorated signing bonus, again, 14.6, no guaranteed money. So at this point, the Detroit Lions could walk away from Jared Goff with a dead cap figure of $29.2 million, cap number of $54.6 million. Remember, no trade, but they could cut him in 2027 if they wanted to. They could trade him if he agreed, but this would be more likely a situation where Jared Goff would end up being cut if there was a situation that arose that, maybe he wasn't playing as well, but I don't think that's going to happen. 2028 base salary of $39 million, prorated signing bonus of 14.6, guaranteed salary, $0 again, dead cap 14.6, and option year. So cap number 61.6, roster bonus $7 million. That's the first year where they're putting a number for him to make the roster. So when you look at this contract, for all of you out there that felt like this contract was really going to hurt this team, I only see one season in 2026 where he has a giant number that is not, unattainable. It's not like it's not doable. It is a very well-structured contract that sets this team up for the future. They will allow players like Ali McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson and others to get re-signed and extended in 2026 or 2025. What is sad, though, about this media business are a lot of the analysts who doubted Goff are now kind of reevaluating their stance, right? And people are kind of forgetting all about the hate and the disrespect that these individuals have showered Goff with, and they get away with it. And I'm going to encourage you that these complete 180s that have been performed about Goff's ability, and now by some, of the staunchest critics in this industry, that Goff is not a franchise quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. It's a waste of money, blah, 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 blah. Call them out. Call every single one of them out. I don't care who it is. Make them understand you remember, that you don't forget what they said about your quarterback. Don't let them get away with it, guys. This is something I said would happen many, many, many months ago, that when Goff got paid, this is exactly what would happen. All of these analysts, all of these critics are going to turn tail and flip the script and tell you a different story on why now Goff is worth what he's worth and why now it makes sense. Well, why didn't they foresee that before? Well, maybe they're the ones that aren't good at what they do. I don't know. His new contract, in my opinion, is a testament to the Lions' faith in him and their commitment to building a winning team around him. And yes, the Lions can still add pieces. They will still have cap that they can work with every single season. If other teams can do it, the Lions can do it. And quite honestly, I think that the Lions can do it just a little bit better than others. Goff said today, I'm grateful for the Lions' faith in me. I can't wait to see what we can achieve together. This is just the beginning. Jared Goff's journey is a story of perseverance and redemption. Resilience, as Dan Campbell often refers to, and Brad Holmes for that fact. As he steps into this new chapter with the Lions, the future, in my opinion, looks brighter than ever. So, for once, if you are a doubter, if you are an SOL fan, or just simply a pessimist, please just try to trust the process, believe in the future, and go Detroit Lions. Thanks for watching. Y'all, appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates on your favorite team, the Detroit Lions. Take care.